What's going on, people? Welcome to the United Stand. It's another Tuesday night show, the eve before the PSG game. Big up to Alex. KG's not here this week. KG hasn't turned into somebody else. You know what I mean? People saying that, KG's turned into someone different, very, very different. Big up yourself, Alex. You good?
Yeah, good to be back so quickly as well. And sorry to everyone that's expecting KG and probably going to slaughter me in the comments for not being him.
They're not going to be doing that, mate. All love around here. Don't worry about that. And you got the old school United Stand branding. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm reaching out.
You can tell that the viewers that have been watching us since the very beginning will probably recognise this shirt and this old logo as well.
100%. Hold tight, all the big United Stand watchers who've been watching for years, man, because that's like 4 or 5 years old, that logo. So love that. Retro in the building. So much to talk about today, man. We've seen Solskjaer have his say on Cavani, basically.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the game against PSG. Cavani Van de Beek looks like he appears to be fit. In fact, a lot of players appear to be fit. Ollie basically saying that there's players chomping at the bit. So apart from your kind of obvious couple like your Luke Shaws, etc. Phil Jones.
Didn't he say Luke Shaw even? I think
could be potential.
Is even a potential, yeah.
So they've been training. So it's actually the Pogba situation as well. So we want to talk about who you're going to start. What would your starting lineup be? I mean, Alex, for the game tomorrow, big game tomorrow. We've done PSG already. Played a back five. What would your starting team be tomorrow? And get involved in the comments as well. What would your starting team be?
It's a difficult one because on the one hand, like now that Luke Shaw's back, I would be tempted because we only need a point. Like I'll probably get killed for being too negative, but I think that Luke Shaw does work pretty decently in that left centre back role. So I was thinking we could maybe do 3 at the back. So De Gea, unless he's 100% fit, I wouldn't risk starting him. He's obviously going to have a really, really bad bruise. Obviously, a bruise isn't going to be something that can keep you out for a long time, but it's still like when you're springing and everything, it is going to be some discomfort for him. But if Ollie said he trained well, so we'll just trust him. Obviously, I know a lot of people would prefer to start Henderson, but I'm still in the camp of De Gea. I think has improved a lot this season compared to his past 2 seasons. So the extra competition with Henderson's clearly helping him. So it would be De Gea, Shaw, Maguire, Lindelof in that 3 centre-back role, then Telles and Wan-Bissaka either side. Then I'd be tempted to go with Van de Beek and Fred, because I think that does work well, mate, with the extra security. Yeah. Because obviously we did look fairly solid against Southampton with Matic there, but having the 3 centre-backs, we can still play like that and have that defensive solidity, but then still have the added emphasis of Luke Shaw going forward, like pushing out from that back, turning that back 3 into a back 4 and then back into a back 3, depending on the situation. So yeah, Van de Beek and Fred, because also we want to grow that partnership because a lot of people are liking how that's looking going forward. And then Bruno, first name on the team sheet, obviously. And then if he's 100%, I don't know if he is with Martial. Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, he got sent home from training, didn't he? Yesterday. So I don't.
After like 11 minutes or something, they said. Didn't they?
And that's been a couple of training sessions he's missed. So I think that will come too soon for him. Although I didn't.
Okay, well then in that case, I'll have Rashford on the left, and then up front next to him, so in a split 2 would be Cavani for me.
I mean, that's going to be really exciting, and I know, we'll talk about the Cavani situation, and he might be having a ban incoming and stuff like that, which Mark spoke about, and we'll touch a bit on that. But in terms of the positivity, that's gone to one side, and Ollie kind of challenged him to put that to one side. While he said, "Look, that's up to Edinson. He's got to put that side because we've got a big game to run. It's against his old team as well, man. He knows a lot about PSG.
Equally, they know a lot about him."
Exactly. They know a lot about him. They know about his movements. They might try and nullify him because they do know all too well about him. But I don't think Martial will play. But this is the thing for me. It's weird because we played the 5 at the back against them, and that is probably the best way to go beat them because you're thinking of Lindelof and Maguire facing the pace.
Mbappe name.
You know what I mean?
But we didn't even see it last time, did we? Because Maguire was out, and it was Tuanzebe obviously played that absolutely brilliant game. But so...
And
we don't know how Maguire was. Yeah, and I don't know how you feel about it. Just sorry to go off the subject briefly, but Tuanzebe I thought was brilliant, and he's someone who, like I was talking in the last stream about, like being a fan of the England team and stuff. I was like, he'll 100% make the Euros. This was last season, 100% make the Euros, and then obviously had that bad injury in the warm up to Liverpool. But I've always think he looks really good when he's playing. I mean, recently he had that one game after PSG. I can't remember who it was against, but he looked a bit shaky. Oh, it was that Turkish side. But aside from that, I would really give him a chance. But I know Lindelof and Maguire are a growing partnership, but he did absolutely brilliantly against Mbappe. And then you have to wonder, like what you said, with them two, we haven't seen Maguire and Lindelof against Mbappe's pace or Neymar's pace. Whereas we know, like we think Maguire can do it, but whereas we know Tuanzebe can.
I agree. I think it's a scary thought of, and it was the first time round, which we didn't see because we had the 3 centre halves, but it's a scary thought of Maguire and Lindelof in a 2 going against.
Oh, gotcha.
It really is. I mean,
even if the protection is Matic, who's also slow, so
exactly, I can't see it. The best way to beat them is to have legs, is to be aggressive, and you need people who are going to be able to match the likes of Di Maria, Mbappe, and Neymar, because them two as a 2, I don't think there was enough protection. Although I do like the diamond, and you know what? When we went into the diamond later on in that game, I think Pogba came on, didn't he? And we went to Pogba came on for Telles, and then we put Luke Shaw to left back, and then we went to a back 4, and then we
still dominated. That's the thing.
Dominated.
As you were talking, I was like thinking, like I chose 3 at the back, but then do we really have to respect them? Because their front 3, obviously, that can hurt any team in the world. But you take away their front 3, and I would put outside of our front 3, I would put our team player for player against them. Like, I think personally, I know a lot of people probably disagree, but with Herrera versus Fred, I think Fred's better. Obviously, they have Verratti back now, who's a massive boost to them. But their team really isn't all that apart from the front 3, which obviously you can make a case for it being the best front 3 in the world. But
no, I agree, and I think I do. That's what I do like about this game. Yeah. The fact that actually we need to put a bit of respect on our own names. And I'm not saying carried away. I'm talking about in the context of the last game we played against them and what we can go on. The last game we played against them, right? We done a number on them. We nullified them for large periods. And that's because, like you said, once you shut their front 3 up, which is difficult to do, but if you have the right setup to do it, their midfield's not amazing, although Verratti is back. I understand that. Yeah. And their back 4, some of their defending was shocking. Like, really.
But also, they have Marquinhos back now, don't they? Who I think is their, like, since Thiago left, he's like their main man there. So, but it'll be harder. But it's not like any impossible job. The way I think of it is that we, like, if you put City against them, City could comfortably beat them, and we beat City all the time. So, and their overall team is better, so we shouldn't have anything to fear. The one thing that does kind of make me worried, although in the Champions League it's been the complete opposite effect, but is our home form. But in the Champions League, like I said, we've scored 9 goals in our last 2 games, haven't we, in this group? So we even have to worry about it with that.
That has been good. I mean, I just think the safest thing to do and the sensible thing to do would be to go 5 at the back again. I agree. I'll go with the exact same back 5. Lindelof, Maguire, Tuanzebe. I'm sorry, Shaw. With Maguire and Lindelof, that's fine. Don't mind that. Because Tuanzebe obviously has been injured for a bit, so he's probably a bit of an arse. But he's a bit of a worry because is he going to put Luke Shaw in? Luke Shaw hasn't played.
That's the only question mark. I mean, he could potentially. I think that he will go with the diamond, but because I don't think he'll go. The alternative to that could be is that we play Tuanzebe, Maguire, and Lindelof, but I don't think he'll do that. I reckon he'll just try with the diamond. We tried it against Leipzig and it worked. So.
And that's what I mean. He's got joy, and you do have to give respect to that front 3. But also, I like what Ollie was saying. He was saying that, look, we're going with intent to win the game. That's one thing. We need a point. We've got to go for it. We can't just sit back and think, well, we've got 2 good results against Leipzig and PSG, and then we beat Istanbul. So we're okay. Oh yeah, sorry. It's Tuanzebe suspended. Oh yeah, I forgot.
He got the yellow card. Yeah, of course.
Forgot. Yeah, exactly. So he got suspended. Sorry, not injured. Yeah. He was injured before that. But I think that we've got to go and try and win the game. Do you know what I'm saying? We've got to try and win the game. If we 100%. Don't, then I think you run the risk of being scared against them, and then you end up getting a bad result. We've got to go and try and win the game.
Not even that, like, even if we somehow do win, then we can rest all our players as well in the next game, because we'd already secured top of the group. So, and just how good of a feeling would it be knowing how much they hate us at PSG, hate United, to just send them to the Europa League? What a feeling that would be.
Imagine that. That would be amazing. And you know what? Even on top of that, not even just with how much, the Di Maria thing and they hate us, whatever, just the fact that, you know what, when that group came out, Alex, that was a group of death. It was almost like Oh, because it was before the season. You're like, oh, that's a tight. I don't like the look of that group. Do you know what I mean? Put them both to the sword. That would be a really big achievement. Because even me, I was tweeting saying, you know, where'd you have to finish to go into Europa then? How does it work? Like, you're just thinking the worst before we even tried.
I understood, like, maybe it's just delusion on my part, but I understood why people were saying it's a group of death. Obviously, all rivals were saying we're out already, but I wasn't like that mega worried.
What was you like?
I wasn't that mega worried because I looked at it that I thought we would come second and I thought PSG would come first because I thought Leipzig, they obviously have a brilliant manager, but they just lost Werner. So you take away that, you look at our team on paper, it should be beaten. I think a lot of the time we have come because we've been so unsuccessful in the last few years that our expectations have been played down. But I think especially under Ollie, we've actually built like a pretty decent squad when you look at it on paper.
I agree. That's one thing where I can question him tactically. I can question, you know, certain things that I think he needs to improve on. But I do give credit where credit's due. I do think this is the best part of the rebuild we've had since he's come.
Well, you look at it, like, even just look at it just in terms of attack. Obviously, their attack is better than ours, but you have Bruno, who you can make a case easily one of the best attacking midfielders in the world. Cavani, if he still is the Cavani that he was, which obviously it's only been a couple of games, so we don't know that for sure, but he is literally one of the best strikers of the past decade and would still be, at his best, one of the best strikers in the world. You have Rashford, 23. I know a lot of our fan base, for some reason, don't rate him, but you look at his numbers in his age group compared to pretty much every other player, he's right up there with like the likes of Sancho, with Haaland in that like age group for like goals and assists. And then you have Martial, obviously brilliant season last season. Even as young as Greenwood, put his numbers up with other 18, 19-year-olds, and we're golden, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to be a mouth-watering game. I think it's excited. We've got some big games coming up that actually we should embrace, you know what I'm saying? And this is just another one of those. And if we win it, and we've guaranteed qualification and pretty much secured top spot, to be honest with you. So I'm actually really looking forward to it. I'm proper looking forward to Cavani going against his old team, because that always gives you an extra spring in the step. Do you know what I mean? I would love for him to score against them, run off.
Do you not? Yeah, I was so happy he did that after the game. Because I'm like, why isn't he busting out the proper celebration? But do you not think we spoke about it at the weekend about the fear now that he played brilliantly and then just gets dropped to the bench again? Do you have a slight worry that he could be benched again tomorrow? Or do you reckon he'll start?
I think he'll start tomorrow because. Again, we'll kind of go on to it. I think he's probably going to get a ban. Me personally, I think that if they're going to act within the consistent rules that have been going on, I think he should. And I think that probably will happen. So Ollie's probably thinking of it that way. And also, the thing is with Cavani is that hold tight, Joy, or whoever's put it on the United stand. Welcome back, Alex. Big up.
Thank you.
Everyone's saying you look like Cavani as well, but I think they're saying you don't actually look like Cavani.
Do you know the funny thing is, like way before the show, I was always saying to my fiance, because I've grown it like since March, and then I'm gonna cut it in March, so it would have been in lockdown like a whole year without cutting it. I was like to my girlfriend, I'm basing it off Cavani, so it's funny that they actually picked up.
Maybe you are exactly. But the thing is with Cavani is that we all want him to play, but we have to remember his injury record. We have to remember his age. And yes, when he's fit, he's in incredibly good condition. He's very, very fit. I think Solskjaer was saying he had the highest running stats for when he's been playing, which is amazing. He's a very, very fit guy, but we do have to manage him carefully. He can't play 3 games a week, 90 minutes. It can't happen.
Which is why the ban, if he does get this 3-game ban, it could be, if we don't beat PSG, then it could be a blessing in disguise, because we're going to have a fully fit and fresh and rested Cavani.
Exactly. So. Exactly. Van de Beek as well. He was in the press conference. He looked like he had a real big lump on his ankle, but it looks like he's going to have recovered by then. He's going to be important in that game as well. Hopefully he starts. I think he probably will.
Yeah, don't they normally do that? I think it has happened that it didn't happen before.
It didn't happen the other day. It didn't happen. McTominay was in it. And
McTominay, that was it. Yeah. So that's the first time I was thinking. But normally, like 9 times out of 10, if they're in the press conference, they're starting. And I am hoping he starts, because it seems now that Ollie's liking that Fred and Van de Beek double pivot, which is good for us, because I don't know about you, but I wasn't really liking the McTominay Fred 2-man midfield, because I find it too negative. I don't know what you think. And then obviously Van de Beek is obviously
my thoughts on McTominay is that he's got attributes that are more physical. I feel like he can get about the pitch. He can get in people's faces. He can, he's got good desire. He's okay if he plays simple. I think when he tries to complicate things or play a little bit more attacking, I think that's where he struggles. I think he, the same way how Fred gives away the ball quite a bit. That's one of his downsides, but he's so good at everything else. I think McTominay, I don't really see the big gas with McTominay. I like him as a player, and I think he'll be a very good squad player.
Yeah.
But I don't see him being a mainstay in a starting 11 for me.
He's like another Lingard of just like he'll be good for certain situations, but not a long-term squad player. And I also think I worry if he goes against PSG. I mean, it's no shame in it, but he really got the run around from Neymar, I felt, in the first game. And obviously Neymar can do that to any player, but like I thought Fred dealt with them all really well, but I thought McTominay struggled, and he obviously got booked, and I was getting so angry. I'm like, he's going to get sent off because he was giving so many fouls on Neymar every single time as well. Yeah,
I mean, just to kind of before we move on, smash a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Get your super chats in. We'll get those read out as well. Big up to everyone watching. I mean, we haven't secured qualification yet, so you got to be careful, because if it goes wrong, this will get clipped.
It could easily go wrong.
It goes wrong. But what's your expectations for us in the Champions League? Because you know what, with how you look at the top teams in Europe, you look at Barcelona going for a rebuild, not tearing up trees. People would put in, I think Real Madrid are now losing. Zidane could get the sack soon again. You're looking at Bayern Munich as, okay, you park them and leave them where they are. But other than that, anything can happen. You know what I mean?
That's like what you said about the getting clipped up. I do worry about it, because after that PSG game with Ollie the first time round, I was genuinely thinking like, it's our time. We're actually going to win the Champions League. I can't believe it. And then obviously
we drew Barcelona and we got back.
Yeah. But like since then, we don't have to really worry about any team, I don't think. Like PSG obviously are a top team, Leipzig are a top team, and we really did well against both of them. Like you said about the other teams, that they're in transition. If you went against Real Madrid, what are they, like 4th, 5th in La Liga at the moment? Bayern are obviously a different kettle of fish, but we've shown countless times with teams like City that teams that come onto us, we can hit them on the counter. So if we just put everyone behind the ball and counter Bayern.
Well, you saw it last year. If it was at Lyon got to the semi-finals.
Yeah, exactly.
Leipzig got far. PSG, who we're doing a number on, has got exactly the same team. They got to the final.
Exactly.
I just think, I think you got to keep it in context, like 100% context.
Yeah. We're
not on here saying we're the best team in Europe. 100%. I don't see anything better than the final. It's a failure. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying because what I mean is that football's in a bit of a weird place right now. There's no fans. People are beating people who wouldn't normally beat people. Or maybe games are being a bit more crazy because there's no fans and there's not that pressure. And you never know. You could just get a favourable draw in the round of 16 if we go through. Then you find yourself in the quarterfinals. And then
anything can happen. But another team that we forgot to mention, which we haven't, like how we've been beating pretty much every team in the league when we've gone up against them, we have struggled against Liverpool. So if we got that. And how massive would that be? You
had to put a bit of reality in.
But no, even if we got them, we shouldn't necessarily fear them that much. Like Klopp is obviously a brilliant manager, but like they have so many injuries. So even them, we could beat them, and it would be an absolutely amazing feeling to knock them out.
Imagine
but
that.
Yeah, apart from them and Bayern, although we actually thinking about it as well, Atletico would be a team like that. I envision that we would struggle against because they'd obviously sit back. And they're like the masters of doing that, and we struggle against breaking down some even like relegation fodder in the Premier League, let alone the best team in the world at doing that style of football.
Yeah, I think so. I just wanted to get your thoughts on what you think would be.
Acceptable.
I mean, let us know, you guys at home as well, what you're thinking. What would be an acceptable, Champions League run for you? How do you guys see that? I want to know, definitely. Yeah.
I don't think I'm like the most reactionary person as well, because I've now got it in my mind that we win our game in the Premier League. We win our game in hand. We're 2 points off top, and I'm starting to think, can we? Surely not. So I know like the same thing will happen. If we beat PSG tomorrow and look good doing it, I know I'm going to think that we're going to win the Champions League. So I don't want to go.
Tomorrow, you're going to be like, if we win, this is it. We can win the Champions League.
But it's true, though. It's like I always say, to bring it back again to England, people always say that you're deluded for wanting to win the World Cup or Euros. What's the point of even being in the Champions League if we don't think we can win it? So, So I predict that we'll get to. I'll just go deluded and say the semis, but realistically the quarters. But I'll say the semis.
People are saying quarterfinals or semis.
Yeah.
Finals, says Kelsey.
It's completely dependent though on the draw, like what you said.
Says David Lloyd. Exactly. It depends who you get. At the end of the day, it's potluck in it, and anyone, if you go on a good cup run, then great. That's what you're looking for. That's what you want. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Moving on, there's been a lot about Ighalo getting a new contract. I want to talk about this. Do you want him to get a new contract? Let us know what you guys think at home as well. Should Ighalo be getting a new contract?
Is it actually confirmed then? Because I was speaking to Jewelty just before I went on, and I was like, "What? He's getting a new contract?" It makes no sense to me. I don't even
talk about, and it's being reported that it could happen. I mean, it does seem weird.
I guess he's in the situation if he's grown up since a little kid being a United fan. So if we were in that situation, even if we're not playing, you're just going to be so never wanting the dream to end, and you never know, he could come on in some game and score the winner or whatever. And it doesn't really make sense to me, especially because wasn't he on or isn't he on 200k or something? Because we're subsidising the wages from Shanghai. Yeah, 100k. So it does seem a bit weird from the club to do that, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not against it if. It does seem a bit of a waste of money. Is it till the end of this season or when? I
think it could be to the end of to the end of this season.
I thought you were going to say the end of.
No. It's got to be surely. I mean, because look, this isn't this isn't a club post. This is us exploring it as some early reports are kind of bringing up. And look, it's not about being disrespectful. I think when Ighalo came in,
did great.
The problem is we needed a body in that area. And we needed someone who was going to accept that role of, listen, Martial's the main striker, and we need someone to fill in. And in the games that he came in early on, he did well. I just think after lockdown, I think it just didn't look the same. And now he's not. Obviously, Cavani comes in, and that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah,
I don't really see where Ighalo would even get a game. To be fair.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't really make much sense. Do you remember the last time you even played?
So I
don't know off the top of my head. People in the comments are probably.
I don't know. When was the last time Ighalo played? Was it Norwich in the quarterfinal?
Oh, yeah, it might have been. Has he not played this season then? Or?
No,
I don't remember him playing this season. But...
Maybe he might have come off the bench against Luton or something. I don't know. No, because he and Rashford had come off the bench in that game and scored.
Yeah, he must just literally be. Oh, sorry, you go.
I can't think of the last time he played. It could be against Man City when he came on as a sub before the last game before lockdown.
God, yeah. See, so it has been ages, and I don't know. Is he just holding out, knowing that Martial and Rashford both tend to get one big injury every season? Cavani, as we said, has his injury issues. Is he just holding tight, just waiting for that one opportunity and hoping he seizes it? But like I said, he grew up as a United fan. If I was in his position, would I want to go back and play for Shanghai if we're subsidising the wages, getting the same amount of money, or be in the Premier League, we're not necessarily playing, but you're still at your dream club? I'd probably choose United in his position as well. It's just from the club's perspective, it's a bit weird, but
yeah, it was Luton. Everyone's saying Luton. I thought it could have been Luton. Okay. Yeah, it was Luton. That was the last game. He started that game, didn't he? Actually, and so did Van de Beek. I remember. And then when the big boys came on, the A team, as they say.
Yeah, and then when Greenwood came on.
It was quite flat before that. It was quite flat when they came on and
it did show the gulf in class between our main attackers and then Ighalo. But I think people have been saying, he's not United quality and whatever. But for what he was brought in to do, I thought he did a good job last season. So
I do. I see what you mean. I mean, I think that we got to move on though. I think if we don't move on, and we're paying them a lot of money as well, it was a great story at the time when we didn't have Cavani. It was like a short-term fix, a really, really short-term fix, just in case Martial got injured, which in the bigger games he didn't get injured, so we didn't need to go there. But I think if we don't move on, and you talk about the wages as well, we won't kick on. So for me, a lot of people kind of agreeing in the comments. Up to you guys, and people saying he played against Brighton as well. So basically, the cup games, the Carabao Cup, is where he played. I don't really see much scope of where he can even get a game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Now Cavani's forced his way in, and then with Cavani, if he is actually going to be our main striker, then it's going to force if Rashford then plays on the right, it's going to force Greenwood onto the bench. So then you think in these sorts of lesser games that Greenwood's going to be starting. So
yeah, no, I agree. Smash a like on a video. Nearly 4,000 people watching live. Subscribe if you guys are new. Hold tight, Lee. Big up for the super chat. Says fancy us to smash PSG and see the snake cry again. Yeah, I mean, look, everyone's feeling confident about that game, and I can see why. We're on a good run. You know, the players are feeling confident, and we've proved we can beat them before. But we're still Man United. We're still inconsistent.
Yeah.
Still don't know what Man United's going to turn up, and you know, it's not a given that we're going to win this game. It really isn't. But I get. I've got an air of positivity going into it as well. My birthday on the day, I'm feeling positive. I think we can get it done. I've got to believe we can get it done, and our form, and even just playing against them, shows that we could.
The thing is with United that I don't know, because obviously I haven't been on the show in years, but I felt for like the last few years, we have like a mentality issue in the sense of I have no worries going into a game like PSG that they'll be up for it, because they seem so motivated that if they go in as the underdog, then they'll play like absolutely brilliantly, it seems. Obviously, there are exceptions like Spurs and Arsenal, but then you could make the case that to them, it might not feel like that big of a game, Spurs and Arsenal, than compared to if it's like Chelsea, City or Liverpool. But it just seems like their motivation, like they just seem like against like a top team where everyone writes us off, they just seem like so much more up for it. So
I agree. And you know what you got to remember as well is after the way they played against us in that first game, Tuchel was basically saying we wasn't intense enough. We wasn't there. They won't be happy with that. Like they will remember how badly they played in the first leg. I say the first game. And also, you know, that's testament to us. We made them play badly.
That's what I was about to say. It's like I keep seeing this. They played badly. But I thought it was more that we made them play badly.
We did. But in their camp, you know, it's hard to admit that the other team done a number, and they're not just going to be thinking, bloody hell, that Bruno was good, wasn't he? That's not much good. They're going to be like, we went on our game. We were poor. We had chances. We didn't take them. They're going to see it from their side. So he will have them up for it. And we can't just assume that they'll be as bad as they were in the first, or it'll be as easy for us as it was in the first. We've got to come with the right attitude. And
also, I'm not sure, like with their front three, like if it will be the same as last time with Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria, or they're seeming to like recently that Moise Kean, who was at Everton, and he has been starting for them. So
he's scored a few goals as well. Yeah, he's found his feet out there, so could change it up.
It's good for us that Icardi isn't starting though. So
yeah, exactly.
It does seem every time, like obviously it's brilliant that we've been beating them, but every time we go against them, they seem to have like a load of key players.
Hey mate, I'm not worried about that. I'm not complaining. Moving on, I want to talk to you about the January transfer window.
Yeah,
just quickly. Ollie kind of in the press conference, he went, "Oh, here we go. It's 1st of December, pretty much." And you're talking about. Do you think that we should try and spend in January, or would you wait?
I think we probably should spend, but I have no faith that we will, to be honest. But we're bringing in, it depends as well. Like I would say a stopgap, like we spoke about before about, oh no, we didn't. Sorry, that was on Twitter. I was speaking with someone before about the right wing position. Like everyone always says about Sancho. But from what I've seen, that Ighalo does look like a brilliant player. But obviously he's young and he's going to be phased in gradually. So I don't know if there's like a right winger around that's like 28, 29, 30 range that we could get like cheaper than a Sancho or whatever, but that they'll fill the gap for like the next 2-3 years till Diallo's ready, and then he'll end up costing like the same amount as Sancho potentially. And like I know it seems that I have a Sancho agenda, but he isn't even like
you do.
I kind of do as well. But, even before we were linked with him, so it's not like sour grapes or anything. But he's another one that drifts centrally as well, so he wouldn't hold the space out wide anyway. So I'd want like an actual right winger. Like I don't know if you saw back on Match of the Day and stuff, they were focusing until Cavani came on. They were saying about Greenwood and Rashford, how they kept dropping really central, and then they showed like our right hand side of the pitch how it's just a big empty hole, and that seems to be, if you look at average player positions, that seems to be a common trend that always happens. So we need someone that will actually go out on that right hand side, which to be fair to Cavani, he did do, but we need obviously someone that's specialised there. So sorry, I'm going in a long-winded way to answer the question. That I would, for the summer, I'll take the sense of that if our targets are available, like what Ollie always says, then we'll get them early, and I would get them in January. But I'd rather wait until the summer and get the right player than just rush it in January to get a stopgap, because I think we need a really good defensive midfielder and a right winger, and then obviously a centre back as well. So I don't think like the sort of player that we want to be attracting is like your Upamecano type player, which I don't think would be available in January.
So you'd rather see us kind of be more reserved in the January window with what we've got.
Unless is the only situation of, like with Bruno, if you can get someone from a quote-unquote lesser league, like the Portuguese league, if there's like a gem that would be available now, get him then. Yeah,
if you see it from a different league. Yeah, that's fair enough. I hear what you're saying there. What do you think we need a backup right back as well? We can talk about this with Mark as well. Brandon Williams was the backup left back. He done really well at periods last season, especially when Luke Shaw wasn't on form. I get that. And he came in and it was almost like a breath of fresh air. It was like, this kid's really good.
Yeah.
Kind of started to flatline, and it's like, actually, look, Luke Shaw's still our best left back. Let's not get carried away here. And Brandon he finished the season quite poorly. And obviously we went and got Tellez, which shows you the thinking there. They obviously,
And then since we got Tellez, if you notice, like in his last 2 games before he got injured, Luke Shaw got like an assist in each game. So he actually improved.
Do you think we need, with Wan-Bissaka's the main guy, do you think we need someone else on the right to challenge him? Or can Williams?
I always had faith on the right-hand side that Ethan Laird would come through, but he seems just so injury-prone that I don't think that'll work out. One right-back who I really like the look of, he wouldn't be available in January, but as a long-term one, but then a lot of people would say he's probably better than Wan-Bissaka for what we'd want is, I can't remember his name, he plays for Brighton.
Tariq Lamptey.
The ex-Chelsea one.
Yeah.
He looks like a real good prospect, and if someone like United don't sign him, then City are going to, or some other team. He looks like a brilliant prospect, and he's still young. So I think coming from Brighton, I don't know how much they'd want from him is the issue. They'd probably want like 50 mil if we're talking real.
He plays all season and play as well.
Yeah, but I think because of his age, he's the sort of player that probably wouldn't mind being a backup to Wan-Bissaka, and then you'd see when Wan-Bissaka might improve. But I was speaking with Mark about it the other day. He put a tweet out about Wan-Bissaka, and I was saying about that his issue is I think he can cross, but that he just chooses not to for some reason. Then other people replied to me, and they do have a point, is that because we don't have a right winger taking those players off so that he has more space? Because every time he gets the ball in that position, he has like 2 people on him, so it's obviously way harder for him to be able to cross. I don't know what you think about that.
I think, look, KG always gets on to me about this all the time, and because my thing with Wan-Bissaka, I just think he is improving. He is improving. I definitely think that. I think defensively, obviously, he's just superb. I just want to see a more consistent him going forward. But maybe I need to take a step back as a fan and go, look, he's building into the role, and he is trying to improve. He's in an unsettled team. He's in an unsettled right-hand side where he plays with either a Mata or a Greenwood who's always going to try and fight. He's got a lot of work to do. So maybe I've got to cut him some slack. But when I just look at it from a football purist point of view of him actually on the ball, pass the eye test for me. I don't have faith. You know what I mean? And that's not just because of his style of play.
That's what I was about to say. Do you just like the eye test because he's like a bit clumsy looking sometimes? Like people do the memes of him in like the Timberlands and on the like roller skates.
Do you know what I mean? It's like following athletics and seeing like, I don't know, like a Michael Johnson. He used to run really weird, but he was amazing. Like I think it's a little bit more than that with Wan-Bissaka. I think we'll still be having the same conversation in 18 months, 2 years. That's my personal opinion.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? I think he will still be amazing defensively, and not a lot of people will get past him. But my opinion on Wan-Bissaka is that in 2 years' time, when he's still at United, which I'm assuming he will be then, I think we'll still be saying, but he just going forward though. I just still think we'll be having that same conversation, which says to me that, I don't think he will ever get there.
What do you think then about obviously we play Luke Shaw in that left centre-back role. Do you think that we could do it with Wan-Bissaka in the right centre-back of a three? Because obviously you need to be good going wide. Obviously in a 2-man centre-back partnership, no way.
I don't. I think the reason why Luke Shaw can play really well there is because he's actually a really good player. His football brain is really good. His positioning is very good usually. And he's got a lot more experience than Wan-Bissaka. I just think he's a better footballer than Wan-Bissaka. I think he can adapt to different. I saw people saying to me, "Oh, maybe he could play centre half as an actual centre. Maybe he could play centre mid and all that." I'm like, no.
Yeah, he's not good enough on the ball passing and stuff.
He's not.
I understand why they're saying it, but
exactly. Super chat here from Shaikh says, everyone is forgetting that we do have back up in Ighalo, who is actually doing well at AC Milan. I would prioritise CDM and then centre back. Love from India. Big up for that, Shaikh. Do you know what? Ighalo was a weird one because he didn't get to play enough, but the times that I did see him play, I saw the attacking side of it, and I actually thought he looked better as a right winger.
Yeah, but then I was, what you just said is something I was saying in it, but then I've seen like other people saying it is kind of true. Is that not just bringing down our expectations again? Because it's like, would any other like big six side take Ighalo as a right winger? It's because we've been so starved of a good right wing for so many years that we're willing to take a right back playing at right wing. Like he's a weird one. Like you have obviously the LUHG mob that just think he's like our best ever player and stuff, and like would start him over Wan-Bissaka. I think he is really young still. He's like 21, isn't he? And he does have potential. So I'm happy we didn't sell him
as well. He was injured quite a bit as well.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. He is quite injury prone, but he does have good attributes that you think he could one day grow into a good right back, and sending him to a club like AC Milan is only going to do good for him. But I kind of think that we'll end up selling him if he does well there. So I think Ollie clearly doesn't rate him because we were getting games where like I think
he played. He
just wasn't
ahead of him. Remember against Palace, Fosu-Mensah came out.
Yeah, exactly. That's the example I was trying to use because I was trying to think, was Wan-Bissaka injured? But there was a time where Wan-Bissaka wasn't available, and Ighalo still wasn't getting a game. So Ollie clearly doesn't rate him. So people saying about like the AC Milan thing that maybe he'll come back better and everything. I just think Ollie doesn't fancy him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think if he did, he would have sent Brandon Williams out on loan and kept Ighalo.
And then also there's rumours of Fosu-Mensah getting a new contract, so that would even.
What do you think about that? Where do you think?
It's a different situation to Ighalo because obviously he's at the end of his career. With Fosu-Mensah, I don't really understand it. Like back in the LVG days, I was on the show, so anyone that remembers from back then, I was like, I was a massive Fosu-Mensah fan. But then we loaned him out, and one thing I don't understand is he at youth level he was playing in like midfield, and then we loaned him out to like Palace and Fulham, and then he just started playing right back every game. So then now he's probably more comfortable playing right back, but I don't really see it with him now.
He had a bad injury as well, didn't he? I think he got a bad injury at Palace. Was
for
it
like a year, wasn't it? He was out
for like the whole season. Yeah, then he went at Fulham the year they got relegated, I think.
Yeah, and he was like barely playing, and then he went to Palace, and then, funnily enough, Wan-Bissaka came through and just stopped him playing. So, I don't know if he's not good at the way, because I was speaking with a mate who supports Fulham about it, and he's like, he was absolutely awful for us. And then you have to think, if you're not good enough to play for Fulham and you're not good enough to play for Palace, then why are you good enough even to be on the bench for Man United? Because ultimately, we should be aspiring that if anyone gets injured, like, sorry to bring it back to City again, if they lose, if a player of theirs come out, you still have a very, very high quality player come in. If Wan-Bissaka comes out and we have Fosu-Mensah for like 6 months, I wouldn't really feel that confident. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I don't see where Fosu-Mensah is going to get the game time to aid his development. I don't see
his age as well.
Wan-Bissaka, he's not going to get in at centre half. He's not going to get in at centre mid. Where's he going to play for us? I just don't see it.
It's just another example of how badly the club is run with regards to we give these players, like, because if he signs this new contract, it'll be on a high amount of money, and then we just struggle to. It's ridiculous how clubs like Chelsea and Liverpool as well manage to sell these like mediocre players for massive amounts of money, and then because we give these mediocre players massive wages, then we can't sell them. It's a situation like Ollie came in and gave Phil Jones a new contract, and then he obviously wants to leave now, and we can't sell him. I think he will go to another club eventually and be like a good signing like Evans was and like Smalling became, just with like less pressure at a lesser club. But we're never going to be able to sell him on this way. Just same applies to Rojo. It's the issue we're going to have because we keep on not learning from our mistakes. And it could be like with Brandon Williams as well. We gave him a new contract off like basically doing nothing. And like with Mason, obviously he's a brilliant player, and part of me wants to give him a new contract. But then the other half is he's a Man United fan, and he hasn't really. I mean, he did brilliant last season, but he hasn't really earned like the right to you're playing for a massive club. That should be enough. If you're on still like 20 grand or whatever, you shouldn't be on like 100 grand and at such a young age.
Yeah, that is the new school football now, isn't it? Like these players are on huge
just lose their ambition then.
Yeah,
what does he have to work towards?
They get a lot really quickly, and that is the game right now. I mean, Ollie did do that. He gave Phil Jones a new contract. He gave Tuanzebe a new contract. I
have no issues with Tuanzebe.
Yeah, I had no issue with that. He gave Pereira a new contract, I remember.
Yeah, another brilliant example.
And look where that's ended up. I mean, I don't know how he's doing it. Is he Lazio?
Lazio.
I have no idea how he's doing. In fact, I probably should check that.
And the fact we have no idea should be an indicator that he probably isn't doing that amazing.
Yeah, I saw something about them maybe going to get thrown out of somewhere because they had some corruption with COVID or something. They faked tests or something like that. So I don't know. I could have done a bit more reading on that actually. Yeah, to see what that meant for him. It will be interesting to see how our loanees do though, because you got. Well, actually, Gomez actually left, to be fair to him. But, you got Chong out of Werder Bremen. And you got Garner out at Watford, who's doing really well. He's doing amazing.
But likewise, you say about Angel Gomez. Have you seen his stats in the Portuguese league?
Doing amazing.
He's doing absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. And then when Bruno was doing amazing there, we weren't saying it's Farmers League then. So, he's at Bavista.
And he's one player that I actually wish all the best for, because he obviously would have... he's been with the club for so many years and stuff.
He wanted to go play.
I want him to go play, and I want him to develop. So I
was really shocked because he obviously got bought by Leon, didn't he?
And then they loaned him out instantly.
So I was really dubious at the start, but to be fair, I hold my hands up. I got that wrong. I was very skeptical. Leon sounded okay, but then when they said sending him to Bavista, I thought his agents done an absolute number on him there. Fair play. He looks really happy. He's obviously gone back to the homeland too. So I'll take that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He can speak Portuguese and everything, can't he? So
yeah. So big up to him. I want to ask you this as well. Hold tight, everyone watching in the comments as well. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. The expectations for this season. Like Ollie said in his press conference today, right? And I kind of liked this. He said, look, you don't win the league in the first 8 to 10 games, but you can, if you don't keep pace with the pack, you can lose the chance to win the league.
I saw as well. That's a Fergie quote when he was saying it, and that he's copied Fergie saying that. I'm sure I've heard that before. Right out the textbook. But you look at the weekend that just happened. Right, Leicester lost. Tottenham and Spurs drew. Liverpool they drew. Man City won. City won, but they've been in terrible.
They're not even exactly. They're worse than us right now. Who else had bad results? Arsenal.
Yeah.
Arsenal. Really, we should have been angry that Wolves won because they're in and around us. You look at the way the results went, and it was a brilliant weekend for us. And actually, we couldn't say it too many times last year. We actually capitalised when everyone else messed up. But when you look at it, let me get the Premier League table up as we're talking. But when you look at it, I'm not saying we're going to win the league. I'm just saying we want to. You are, isn't it? You look at where we are on the table, and I'm not going to start talking about the game in hand because everyone knows how I feel about that. But we're ninth. We're 3 points off Chelsea, who were third with a game in hand with that thing that I don't like saying. If you beat West Ham and other teams drop points in and around you, we could be in a good position. What's your expectations for this season now?
I feel like we'll know better where we are in about 5 games' time. I know it's kind of a cop-out, but it is still early on, and with everyone being so inconsistent, us included. But I feel like a lot of people are writing us off like we're apparently in crisis. Yeah, like you say, we win our game in hand and we're 2 points off top. Like I saw the betting odds the other day, and Ollie's favourite for the sack. Yeah, if we win our game in hand, like I said, we're 2 points off. It makes no sense. Yeah, Arteta is doing absolutely terrible, and you never even hear whisperings about him getting sacked. But in terms of goals for the season, I think it is really negative to say, but as long as we get top 4 at the moment, I think is a big priority. But I do think with the injuries Liverpool have and how inconsistent everyone is, you never know. We could do something. I think like our squad, I put our squad up against anyone's, especially without Van Dijk in Liverpool's team. It's just obviously our manager isn't as good as your Klopps, your Guardiola's, but I still think you never know. If Leicester can win the league.
Yeah. I don't get, me already. People say I'm negative and all that, but I don't get carried away with that. I'm not buying any title talk. But what I will invest conversation into is saying, you know what? this league is doing a bit of a madness right now. There's so much inconsistencies going around. And I think so long as, I know fans are starting to come back, but so long as the atmosphere isn't the 10-10 atmosphere that it normally is, it's only going to be 2,000 fans here, 4,000 fans there.
What do you, as like a segue on that, building on what you said, what do you make of that some teams, like how Manchester's in tier 3, so we're not allowed fans yet, London are?
It's not a Man United bias.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
City,
want us,
same for City.
yeah, exactly. I wouldn't want us to have a couple of thousand fans there versus someone else who doesn't. I just want it to be fair. The Vampire says, if Pogba leaves, do you think we'll get Grealish? Hold that thought. We'll keep that on the screen. I don't like it. I think we should wait until at least everyone is in tier 2 or everyone's in tier 1 and everyone can have 4,000 fans or 2,000
exactly.
fans.
It's an unfair advantage.
It is.
It depends, though, if they're actually going to, which I don't think they'll be able to. But did you see, I'm sure you saw that article saying that fans aren't allowed to shout, they aren't allowed to sing.
I know some people at different clubs who were like, they've opted out because they were saying,
because of that.
I'd rather give my ticket to somebody else who would enjoy that atmosphere a bit more. But like you said, there's things going out saying you can't do this, you can't do that. People might, they're checking who goes to the toilet, or that it's just not the same. So look, I get it, and I get the kind of, we want to really get back and watch a game. Like I understand that. I'm in that camp. I really want to see the boys play. I want to see live football. At the same time, if you're telling me I got to go there and I can't sing, I can't jump up and shout, obviously you got to have the mask on. I think, what's the point in even asking fans to come back? Because even if you're asking 2,000 or 20,000, surely you want them to contribute to the atmosphere. That's why you're asking them back. And
I assume social distancing will be in place, so it might be
100%.
You and then like 10 empty seats.
It will probably be, yeah. Exactly. And so you've got like arrival times, departure times.
Yeah.
It'll just be a really different experience. And I get that some people won't mind that, and that's great. I think we've got to try and encourage it. But yeah, on a personal, I probably wouldn't want to do that. But at the same time, I get kind of covering United stand as well. We want to be there and we want to show what that's like. So, but yeah, from a personal, I wouldn't really enjoy that as much as obviously when it comes back properly. But what do you think about that? If Pogba leaves, do you think we'll get Grealish? And what do you think about Grealish actually?
I absolutely love Grealish as a player, but number one, Pogba and him playing different positions, and number two, I feel like because Grealish, a lot of people think like that Grealish is a midfielder, and he obviously in the Championship for Villa did play midfield, but this season and for England as well, he plays on the left wing, and so we have Rashford there, and if Cavani's our main striker, we have Martial there, so he is a player that I would absolutely love to have at United, like absolutely love, but we have no need for that position. And I assume he could play in the 10, but again, we have Bruno can play there, Van de Beek that can play there. So it would just be a luxury that we can't.
I mean, would you be tempted to go? I don't care. They've all got to fight it out. The Man United.
I would be tempted because he's probably like my favourite non-United player, but it would just be buying someone for the sake of buying someone where we have massive gaping holes in the squad that we need to improve before we spend that amount of money. But it is really frustrating because if Villa would have went down, I feel 100% we would have signed him. Because you know that there was all those rumours that what was it going to be, like 40 million or whatever if they went down. And
it could have been about the Van de Beek price.
And I have a mate that's a Villa season ticket holder, and like they were saying that he was literally gone if they went down.
Yeah, because you got to think how Dean Smith's actually turned that around, actually, because they only just stayed up. And I remember that controversy they had against Sheffield United when the ball went over the line. And that is, I think for teams fighting down there, that was an absolute disgrace. And that's where VAR, well, that wasn't even VAR, it was a goal line. Failed. And you see that, and look how it just changed their fortunes. So for the other teams that went down, that must have been difficult for them.
I think as well, because the new contract was kind of delayed as well. So I think he was actually in talks with United, and that if we would have paid the 80 million, he would have come. But you can't justify paying 80 million. I assume that he, like I just said, that he isn't a midfielder, but I assume that Ollie was trying to buy him for competition for Bruno and was going to play him in that 10, because then we got Van de Beek like shortly after that all fell through, didn't we? So
yeah, a lot of people saying there Madrid have just lost Zidane in the mud again, so it looks like they could be going to Europa League. I don't know, they're really struggling. The last kind of thing is kind of about a bit generic football, because it does affect us, it affects everyone in the Premier League. What do you think about the VAR? What's your stance on that?
I personally think that it should be scrapped. I was saying before we even got it that I don't like it. I think I don't like how it is at the moment. like with the Cavani goal the other day, it was like last minute winner, just going like, yeah. And then you just like stop for a split second, be like, oh, wait, is it actually a goal? And you have to wait after every goal, and it just kills all the emotion for me. I'd rather have, I know people will say, oh, well, Man United get most of the VAR decisions in their favour anyway. But even if that isn't the case, it's just, I'm just sick of it because like the one. Like Sorry?
I don't even like that. You see the fact that West Brom game did not sit well with me at all.
Yeah, but I wasn't complaining because I was in a room for my my in-laws are all West Brom fans, so and they were like screaming at me saying like "filthy, you cheated" and stuff.
Yeah, but you know what? They've got a point. I just, and this is where I'm able to take my Man United hat off sometimes. That bias, and kind of like, I wouldn't want that done to us.
Yeah, no, I mean, exactly.
And it's just not fair. It's just the way it's been used and how it's. And to be fair, it isn't actually the VAR. The VAR just replays what happened. It's how they're implementing it. And even the clowns at Stockwell Park, as you're saying, they're being told to implement it in that way. So it's the people around the big white table who are basically making that decision for football, and they're ruining it. And I just think so long as they don't change the rules, it's always going to be like this.
The thing is, like that, the offside decision was brought in to stop people goal hanging. It wasn't brought in for someone being like a millimetre offside. Or that Watkins one yesterday was an absolute disgrace. His arm being offside because now the new shirt sleeve rule, and it's like his shirt sleeve was offside. So
when it takes that long to work out whether someone's offside, it means they don't have an unfair advantage by being in that position.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's just such a joke. And like what you said, even if it's United, they say about this like bringing it back to like the daylight rule. I think with that, it's more that the offside rule needs to change as well. But I guess if you get rid of VAR, then that kind of defeats it anyway. Because there are some, you know, I mean, I get why they were trying to find it, because we were like, some of the decisions that were being made by the officials were so bad. Like, definitely offside, definite pen, definite handball, or definite violent conduct or whatever. But I think it's gone too far that side. Where okay, we're going to measure the shoelaces or the length of your opponent. But it's equally as well with the goalkeeper off the line. The one in the West Brom one, he was like a metre off the line. But De Gea against Crystal Palace was a joke. He was like an inch off the line with his back foot.
Because the rules are the rules. Exactly, we have to go through it, and that's what I mean. It's just, you just don't want to see it. It's just ruining football. The slightest touches of fouls, even Bruno overturned penalty. Yeah,
or the Bruno one against Villa.
The Bruno one against Villa. Been an absolute injustice when he's literally studied the guy, stood on him, argued about that for ages. You know?
I wasn't arguing it at the time, but like taking my bias out of it, it was a disgraceful decision.
Ruber says Cavani to send PSG to Europa and banter Arsenal. Imagine that. Imagine PSG in Europa League. That'd be mad. But let's not speak too soon, because you know we're still off.
Like I said to you earlier, it could easily, we're all getting like giddy with this. We have two elite level teams that we have to play first to get a point. We could quite conceivably lose to them both. I don't think we will, but it wouldn't be too far out the realms of possibilities. It's not like we're playing like some pub team. Yeah,
exactly. We can't get too ahead of ourselves, and that has been a common theme about what happens at Man United. I think I've detached myself from that now. I've just realised.
Full stones.
100%, bro. Like, I'm just like the inconsistencies that we've had, and we've had false hopes before. We have to get real and realise where we're at. And where we're at is we've got good players who on their day can beat anyone.
Exactly.
But we also got a setup and some players who aren't that good, and a setup that the mentality is not great, where we can lose against anyone as well. Do you know what I mean?
I think we're building, though, like I always said, with Ollie, like one thing I have to say for him, that his signings have been good. Like you see at the moment, we're missing Martial, we're missing Pogba. So before, in seasons gone by, missing them two players, it's game over. Miss them two at the moment, you don't even notice it at the moment, because you bring Cavani on and he obviously changes the game. We're building like a really good squad now. It's like our 11 was decent, but now we're actually getting good squad players and competition for places and real competition.
I agree. Like Kelsey says there, one game at a time, and that's the camp I'm in right now. We take every game as it comes, and we're quietly building some momentum. You know, after the after the Istanbul game, we've done really well. You know,
that's what I said. That's what I said on the show at the weekend. It seems to be one step forward, two steps back. So I just hope it isn't another full storm because I can't take it. Just keep going like that, especially when I'm getting like the delusions of seeing the 2 points if we win our game in hand.
Yeah, don't even get me going. Game in hand, I just can't hack it, man.
Don't even get you going, but 21's coming home.
Everyone always winds me up. I just can't. There's something about, because this game in hand, we had, like I said, people bored of me saying it, but I'll say it one last time. We've got to win all the
game in hand.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I get it though. We might not
think that's a disadvantage though as well. That the fact that we haven't played our game in hand, that we're constantly chasing.
Yeah,
it is quite a disadvantage.
It is. But I think that in the context of why we had to have it, I suppose. Would we have rather just started then with a deplete? Well, look, we started the week after, and look how bad we was for the first.
Well, as well, look, United City and Wolves were all in the same situation, and United City and Wolves all had a really terrible start. So I think we did have we were a victim of our own success in Europe, really.
Yeah, and well, Burnley didn't. They've got a game in hand because it was against us as well. Is it? Yeah, and they've had a bad start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So literally all four.
But I think Burnley's is probably for different reasons. But yeah. I hate playing against Burnley so much. So listen, give me your prediction. Go for it. To wrap up the show, prediction against PSG. What's it going to be?
I'll go 2-0 United. Cavani to score the winner.
Clean sheet. Clean sheet, yeah. Okay. And your prediction against West Ham as well?
That one, we didn't touch on it, but with the ban, it depends. I read earlier that with social media stuff, it takes longer. So out of all the games coming up, the Cavani would be most useful, I think, against West Ham with their low block. So I'm hoping if he does get banned, that it won't be until after that game. So if we have Cavani, I think we can beat them. If we don't have Cavani, we historically struggle against West Ham.
But then, what I'm thinking here is, Alex, is what shape would Cavani be in? Because if he played, come off the bench yesterday against Southampton, hopefully plays 90 minutes tomorrow. Would he be able to do another 90 minutes against the
I guess if we're 5-0 up at half-time against PSG, then he can have it. Well, the thing is, he's like historically, like one of his best attributes has been his fitness. Obviously, he had his injury problems, but I mean, actual like fitness of being able to like go and go. So, yeah, if we play on the counter against PSG, maybe he won't even start. You don't know, but I assume Ollie will start because we don't know when this ban is going to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do worry if it's our normal front three against West Ham because we struggle against teams like that, and we struggle against West Ham in general. Well, and they've been doing good against the big teams. Sorry,
exactly. That's just exactly what it is. There, I watched them yesterday against Villa, and I've just been watching West Ham, and they're not exactly tearing it up, but they're getting positive results. They're at a good end of the table for them.
They're another team that are good on the counter. That they'll sit deep and encounter us.
So. Against them, so especially at their place. I know there's no fans and stuff, but we haven't.
But then again, it could be an advantage of being at their place because we're 8 wins in a row now. So
you're right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and I look at them up front. Yes, Antonio can be a handful, definitely, but he's not clinical like that. Haller, same sort of thing. Jared Bowen on the right hand side, yeah, he's a good
Bowen,
player.
I think, is a good player. Yeah,
he is a good player. So look, they can always cause you. They're that team that can either they're really bad or they give you a really difficult game. West Ham, that's just how they are. Samir says, Pep or Cavani, who had a better impact? Oh, sorry, Pepe.
Pepe or Cavani? In what sense of so far this season? Or
I don't know. I mean,
well, Cavani anyway. I think people are a bit harsh on Pepe. I think there is a good player in there. Like in the French league, he was brilliant. So, but obviously Cavani so far, and the track record proves it.
Yeah, I mean, Pepe's got a whole season on him, but I like Pepe. I don't think Pepe will make it in the Premier League.
Well, we have to think with Cavani. He's our third top scorer or second top goal scorer in the Premier League. He hasn't started a game yet.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So we roll on. Listen, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for the contributions. Thanks for all your comments as well. Thanks for rocking it out with us. Big game tomorrow. Hopefully we get that W. Smash a like on the video and subscribe in the bottom right hand corner if you are new. Big up to the whole United Stand community. And yeah, let's go and get that. Let's go and get that W, Alex. Alex, thanks for coming. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, brilliant. Just can't wait for tomorrow now and for number 4 to come home. 100%.
I'll see you tomorrow on the fan forum.
Yep.
And my prediction, I'm gonna go for a high scoring game. I'm gonna go for another 3-2.
3-2, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a 3-2. I think they're bad at the back. I think we might make a couple of mistakes or something, or they might click, they might score a couple, but I think we'll outscore them. So I'm gonna go.